Hey everyone, Big Meg here. Well, I am back to NaNoWriMo, and I just broke 25,000 words. So, this is where we are at this point in the story. As we raced back into the front doorway of the hospital, Sour looked a little confused as to why the door was out of whack. As we crossed the threshold inside, we started to hear an alarm. Apparently, it had only been programmed in the event of a break-in, not a break-out. It was the least alarming alarm I had heard. It was like a soft wake-up alarm. Keeping our eyes on every corridor, Agent Sauer let me run in front. Gee, thanks. At last, we turned the corridor to the cold room. There was one of the stones standing up in the hallway. He looked over to Sauer and us, and gave a simple nod. Everything is fine, she said. Because, after all, a simple nod indicates that everything is fine. What would the signal have been if things were just mostly fine? A wavy motion of the hand and a shrug? We looked inside the cold room to get an idea of what the chaos was. There were 4 bodies on the floor, and Deputy Cox slumped over in a chair, tied up and passed out. Gilbert ran up to Cox while Holly and I tried to assess the situation. The other Agent Stone was by the big filing cabinet looking for the body of our fallen phone friend. "Am I glad you're okay," Gilbert said as he began untying Cox from his captivity. Will seemed to be regaining consciousness. Maybe he had passed out from the gunfight. It must have been quite loud, too. "Why did it take you guys longer than 10 seconds? Agent Hour asked her subordinates. "Sorry, we didn't know there was a hostage in here." I could tell she was more concerned about her numbers looking good. "Well, I'm glad you are all safe," I said, "but do we have any idea who these guys are? I know this is a classic case of shoot first, ask later." "They're just thugs from Phoenix," Sauer said. "Same as the one from yesterday." Will, finally free from being tied up, was able to come to us on his own accord, with Gilbert closely behind. "They thought we had arrested their friend yesterday from the car chase, when in fact the FBI took him. They didn't care for my story. They had followed me home last night, I guess, confronting me in the kitchen." "Yeah, the senator came by this morning. We were all a wreck," I said. "We had wondered where you were, and found your place completely open." "Okay, so these guys have to do with the black Cadillacs, but what the heck do they have to do with the senator?" "That's where it gets interesting," Sauer said with a sly look on her face. This time, she was obviously the one with the information, and despite what we had gotten from the senator directly, they probably knew more than us. Apparently, these guys had been commissioned to take out people. They were being funded by somebody, but we don't have that information yet. Also, their exact target is unknown. "So, these guys are killers, but you don't know if they killed Barbara," I hope to clarify. "Basically, yeah." "Well, we weren't able to talk to the senator this morning. He came out here on his own accord, super early. He said there was a falling out between him and, one Tolaria Industries." "The new mining conglomerate?" "That's the one," Will confirmed. "Our masquerade was not yet known to them, but I hoped that Will would stay shut up about it." "Were they blackmailing him?" "Apparently they wanted some kind of favor in return for accepting Barbara into their internship program. However, he did not like those terms and refused to meet them. Maybe backhanded deals or contracts, I don't know. He was about to plead the fifth on that." "Tolaria Industries," Sauer pondered. "With kind Mr. Scott's?" "Well, there's no idea that he might know about this whole deal. It could easily be a manager or someone else trying to look good for the boss man." "Thank you, Benson. We're gonna have to take the body too, you know." Mr. Stone opened the filing cabinet, and out popped the tall man we had stuffed in the trunk earlier. "Any idea what he was doing working for these thugs?" Holly asked. "Not a clue. The thing is, we think he is the one who tipped us about the location of Miss Goldwater." "For real?" "Well, we're not positive, but after you had left, we received a nearly identical call from the same person. He said to meet alone, so we headed out, only to find this guy dead near where we had found Barbara." "It doesn't mean he was the caller, though," Sauer said, trying to focus on facts. "True, but why would they kill this guy, then? Are they that cutthroat? Do they have internal hitman who kills hitmen?" "The FBI will figure this whole thing out," she said. "Technically, we need confirmation from Sedona, like yesterday, in order for you to take the body. We don't even know if she tried to contact next of kin or anything like that. We sort of left her with this body and then had to leave." The agents went and carted off the dead tall guy back to one of the FBI squad cars. The body was cold and stiff, and might be hard for them, or it might be weird for them to transport it in the car, though. We followed them back outside, mostly powerless. They packed up their gear, and almost just as fast they were about to bolt. Sour threw something towards my direction. She climbed in one of the FBI cars with one of the stones, and the other stone took the other. I grabbed the shiny object. It was a key. "Thanks for letting us use your car yesterday," she shouted, getting in the driver's seat. "Call us if you need any help from us." I said, "Thank you." The two FBI cars zoomed off into the early morning light. The police car they had brought was now ours, I guess. I reckoned the Phoenix police cars would have all the new gadgets and gizmos. I looked inside. The radio was beeping. I opened the door and answered as quickly as I could. "Benson here." "We'll contact you if we need anything," Sour said on the other line. I took that as we'd never even see each other again. Sedona had pulled back into the lot to start her regular morning shift. She saw us all out there, naturally confused. "Sour took the other dead body," I said. "And the alarm?" "We had to break out and then break back in," Holly replied. "This is going to take all day for me to clean up, isn't it?" she said, dreading the answer already. She walked down the hallway to make sense of the situation. The rest of us were trying to compare the specs between our regular patrol cars and the Phoenix PD's. "What the fuck?" we heard Sedona cry from down the aisle. "Oh yeah, 4 presents. From the FBI to Little Wickenburg."